I'm Professor Stephen Coleman, and I've spent many years researching and writing about political communication. I'm interested in how politicians speak to us, how we speak to them, and what we think of each other. In today's short episode, we'll be looking at post-election victory speeches.
10.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were higher.
7.2.
And they're now on their way down.
He can role-play Margaret Thatcher all he wants, but when it comes to Europe, his answer's the same. Yes, yes, yes!
I'm not going to answer the question because the question is, will you shut up, man?
The Sound of Politics with Professor Stephen Coleman. Election Special.
It has been said that politicians campaign in poetry and govern in prose. Well, sometimes the campaigning is more like doggerel and the governing more like stream of consciousness. But in between those two phases lies a curious liminal moment in which the lofty aspirations of the campaign have been blessed by the votes of the people. And a Prime Minister is about to embark upon the work of translating democratic desire into political output. In Britain, this is a moment when elected Prime Ministers stand on the modest doorstep of their new and temporary home to acknowledge the power that has been conferred upon them. I have just been to see the Queen, they used to say, now it's the King, and they have invited me. But the real invitation has come from you, the aggregate addressee of this message. Indeed, the force of these immediate post-election speeches rests upon the assumption that you, the people, have for one democratic moment become a knowable entity that can be addressed with some certainty of your existence. This is a ritual of legitimation, a final moment in which the poetry of democracy can serve as a prologue for the pragmatic slog of long prose governance. What is said in these speeches is neither rhetorical persuasion, that the intense period for that is over, nor detailed strategy. The devil of that is for cabinet meetings and subcommittees and convoluted, equivocal memoranda from civil servants. Neither future tense nor an arrived-at present. What we hear in these moments is raw intentionality, an elevator-pitch prospectus for a yet-to-be-shaped political era. So what can we learn from these unique post-victory speeches? In 1979, when Margaret Thatcher won her majority of 44, the ritual setting for the victory speech had yet to be developed. There was no lectern, no camera set up in regimented rows across the street, just a media scrum surrounding a woman with a handbag who looked as if she might just be coming back from checking her post office account. But she had prepared. I don't believe that she just happened to recall that quote, which was to become a memorable, perhaps somewhat ironic prelude to what some were to think of as a reign.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope. And to all the British people, howsoever they've voted, may I say this, now that the election is over, may we get together and strive to serve and strengthen the country of which we are so proud to be a part.
In 1997, with a landslide majority of 179, Tony Blair grandly invoked history with a capital H.
A new dawn has broken, has it not? And it is wonderful. We always said that if we had the courage to change, then we could do it, and we did it. And let me say this to you. The British people have put their trust in us. It is a moving and it is a humbling experience. And the size of our likely majority now imposes a special sort of responsibility upon us. We have been elected as New Labour and we will govern as New Labour.
For Blair, this was a moment to remind voters what they had signed up to. Not just any old Labour government, but New Labour. New as in brand new, but new as in new brand. This was a statement of ideological intent. The bigger the majority, the more confident such declared intentions might be. It is as if the voice of the victor is magnified by the weight of those ballot boxes. But not all prime ministers stand at that lectern to celebrate the landslide victory that they had been imagining throughout the weeks of the campaign. When Theresa May was elected in 2017, she lacked a parliamentary majority and knew that a significant minority of her elected Conservative MPs were out to make governing extremely difficult for her. Despite this, Theresa May's statement of intention was far from modest, as she explained her plan to build a country of a kind that we had never seen before.
Over the next 5 years, build a country in which no one and no community is left behind. A country in which prosperity and opportunity are shared right across this United Kingdom.
And so to 2024. When Keir Starmer arrived to celebrate his majority of 172, his performance was preceded by much speculation. Would it be like Blair's victory speech in 1997? Do you remember that day when things could only get better? Could Starmer remix that tune? Or would it be things can only get as good as the fiscal rules permit? It was like waiting for the sequel to a box office hit. And so we witnessed history second time around, the design of a new memory as simulacrum.
But now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal and a return of politics to public service. When the gap between the sacrifices made by people and the service they receive from politicians grows this big, it leads to a weariness in the heart of a nation, a draining away of the hope, the spirit, the belief in a better future, that we need to move forward together. Now, this wound, this lack of trust.
A key purpose of this speech was to provide political closure, to recognise that one of the main reasons this Prime Minister was standing there was because people had come to detest a political culture of permanent excuse for normative deficiencies. More an ushering out than in, this new Prime Minister was there to begin the long process of exploring the meaning, the experience, the feeling of democratic trust. It is often said that politics needs ritual, and that applies particularly to democratic politics, through which that subtle act of ventriloquism channels the wishes of voters through the words of the elected. And when all is said and done, we want to hear that the voice, empowered by our votes, is saying what we have sent it there to say. It is, at best, the sound of politics in its democratic register.
10.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were higher.
7.2.
And they're now on their way down.
He can role-play Margaret Thatcher all he wants, but when it comes to Europe, his answer's the same. Yes, yes, yes!
I'm not going to answer the question because the question is, will you shut up, man?
The Sound of Politics with Professor Stephen Coleman. Election Special.